give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
How you doing, folks? Welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Scout. Today we are continuing our review of Tier 5 tanks for those of you that are just getting into World of Tanks or thinking about getting into it and wondering where you're going to go in the tech trees, what tank you're going to try to get first. And today we're looking at the Panzer IV. Full name, proper name, Panzerkampfwagen 4. Most people just call it Panzer IV, the PZ4. This is the German Tier 5 medium, one of two German Tier 5 medium tanks. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 points on this tank pretty quick, and then we're going to get into some replays. First thing you need to know about this tank is more than a Tier 5 medium tank for the German tech tree. This tank is actually a gateway tank to the German heavy tanks. I'll show you what I mean. Let's take a look at the tech tree. Here you find the PZ4, Panzer IV right here. You can see that to get to the Panzer IV, whoops, wrong way, you have to pick up the PZ35T, go to the PZ38T, the PZ38NA, then Panzer IV, light tank, light tank, light tank, medium tank, but bam, from here on, all of these tanks are heavy tanks. So if you're going to get the Panzer IV, just know that from the Panzer IV on, it's all heavies. If you want to drive German medium tanks exclusively, then you need to come down here to this tree, which will take you eventually to the sister tank, the Panzer III/4, and then down here, or you need to go through the Panzer III Alpha, go up to the Gesundheit 2, and then down here to this German medium tree. Either way, the Panzer IV is not the tank for you if you definitely don't want to drive heavy tanks at some point. Only if you're going to stop at Tier 5 do you want to look at getting the Panzer IV. Just wanted to make everyone aware of that right from the get-go. Second, stats wise, we're going to be comparing this to the T-34, which we're also using as a stand-in for the Chinese type T-34 because they're pretty much the same tank. The M4 Sherman, its sister tank, the Panzerkampfwagen III/4, and the Ram 2. Don't quite have all the Tier 5s, but those are the ones I can compare it to right here for you real quick. Now right off the top we see that 460 hit points, really good health pool for a Tier 5 medium tank. The only thing that's going to beat that, to my knowledge, is the Ram 2. The Ram 2 has 610. The Sherman tops out at 460. Everything else is a little bit less. It weighs in at 25.85 tons with a 440 horsepower engine, top speed limit of 48 kilometers per hour, and specific power of 17.02. What all that means is that this is not as fast as the T-34, not as fast as its sister tank, which is a little bit lighter, the Panzer III/4, but it is faster than the Sherman, faster than the Ram, so somewhere in the middle. And that is a pattern you're going to see repeated throughout this quick stats review. Maneuverability. We're looking at a 32 degree per second hull traverse and a 44 degree per second turret traverse. Kind of awkward. Normally they're somewhere near each other. In this case, the turret traverse is much faster than the hull. Again, not as nimble as the T-34 or the Type T-34. Not quite as nimble as the Panzerkampfwagen III/4, but more nimble than the Ram, by example, just a little bit. Although the Ram actually turns tighter, the Ram's turret doesn't traverse as fast. And more nimble all around, if memory serves. Nope, not quite as nimble even as the Sherman. Although again, the turret traverses faster. So kind of a mixed bag there. In terms of armor, 80 millimeters hull front, 30 sides, 20 rear, and then 50 on the turret front, and 30 all the rest of the way around. What you're going to find here is this actually falls towards the bottom of the pack overall. Now this tank does have the thickest frontal hull armor, even including the Ram, which only has 76 millimeters. You see the Ram has comparable side armor to go with that, I should say. So that helps you out as you're angling because your side isn't so weak. You don't have to pay so much attention. Not so the Panzer IV. It has very weak side armor, and that situation is aggravated by the fact that your front armor, even though it's 80 millimeters thick, extremely flat, as you can see, almost vertical, and full of weak points. Weak point here, weak point here. The lower glacis is not so much a weak point, but prone to being set on fire or taking engine damage if you take a round straight in through that flat panel and it continues to move through the tank like this. So armor, mediocre. On paper, better than some of the others. In fact, hull front better than all the other tanks. Turret significantly weaker. For example, even the T-34, which we've already covered, doesn't have great armor. 52, 52, 45. Better all the way around by just a little bit than even the Panzer IV. Note though that these little additions here actually count as spaced armor, and they will offer you some protection from HE rounds. So that's the armor. We're going to skip the gun for right now. We're going to look at view range. 350 meters, actually very good. Better than the T-34, even better than its sister tank, the Panzer IV. The only thing that's going to beat that is the Sherman with 370. Everything else falls short. See the T-34 here at 350. Actually doesn't fall short, they're exactly the same. And then the Ram is 330, Panzer IV is 320. So pretty good view range. Signal range is excellent. 710 meters is better even than the Sherman, which is going to be the closest competitor. The Panzer IV shares the same radio, so they're the same. And then of course the Russian tank's crap in terms of signal range. So what does that leave us with? Well, it leaves us with the gun. And that, ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't already getting the idea that this is kind of a mediocre tank, the gun seals the deal. Here is the gun on this tank. It is the German 75mm KWK-40 L48, and I gotta tell you, it is a mediocre gun at best. 15 rounds per minute rate of fire. Meh. About average. This is what kills it right here. 110 millimeters of penetration. It's just not enough. You'll recall that the 57mm ZIS-4 mounted on the T-34 has 112 millimeters of penetration, actually 2 more than this gun. However, that gun has almost twice the rate of fire, so if I bounce a shot, it's not a big deal. I'm putting out a round almost every 2 seconds. So unless I bounce 2-3 rounds, yeah, I can afford to bounce one. This thing's firing half as fast. So when you miss a shot, when you bounce a shot with this gun, it hurts. And with these guns, these penetration levels, that's going to happen a lot because your average penetration is not enough to penetrate a well-angled heavy tank. Even from the sides, you're going to hit his tracks. If you side scrape him well, it's going to bounce and ricochet along the side. And even other medium tanks, if you get a low roll and they're angled properly, look at this. The minimum penetration for this gun, here we go, standard shell penetration, 83 millimeters. So that means if you're shooting at another Panzer IV and he's angled just a little bit like that, you may get a bounce, and you cannot afford those bounces. Other than that, the rest of these stats are, again, middle of the pack. 110 points of damage is not bad. Accuracy really kind of disappoints me for a German gun at 0.39. It is better than the Sherman, but it is not as good, believe it or not, as the T-34. And you know what? Out of morbid curiosity, let's look at... okay, it is better than the quick firing 6-pounder on the Ram too. I was going to say, if that's more accurate, then I'm even more disgusted. 2.3 second aiming time is par for the course, though. So, what does all this add up to? It adds up to a tank that doesn't really do anything well. The chassis is well rounded, much like the Sherman. It is capable of doing everything, but your gun lets you down. Your gun is unreliable. It doesn't have the rate of fire that the T-34 has. It doesn't have the high penetration that the Sherman has. It's trying to split the difference, but it comes out really sucking on all levels. And what we're left with is a tank that it's well rounded like the Sherman, but whereas the Sherman does okay in any circumstance, the Panzer IV definitely can suck in any circumstance in which it finds itself, because again, its gun will fail it. It is a tank that you can do well in, but you are going to have to work harder to do well in this tank. One point of interest, if this gun really starts to get in your nerves, one of the biggest differences between this tank and its sister tank, the other German Tier 5 medium, the Panzer IV, because they do share the same gun. But that is the only gun for this tank. You have to take that gun for this tank. Not so the Panzer IV. If you decide that you're willing to roll the dice, you can fit, whoops, left click there, you can fit, where to go? The 105mm howitzer, short barreled derp gun on this tank. And I like this derp gun. I don't like any derp gun, but I like this one a little bit better than the 105 on the Sherman, because you have the option here of firing armor piercing shells, heat rounds, or high explosive, which the Sherman doesn't get. If we pull up, I haven't even unlocked the derp gun, that's how much I don't like derp guns. If we pull up right quick the 105 on the Sherman, you can see here the Sherman will only fire high explosive or high explosive anti-tank. So really low penetration or gold rounds. There's no happy medium. The thing is, with the Panzer IV, if you can get into one of those matches where there's 3 or 4 or 5 Tier 4 tanks and everybody else is Tier 3 and 4, you can eat people's lunch with standard armor piercing rounds with the 64mm of penetration, especially if you can get on their flank. And I think that's why, of all the tanks I've run, this is the one candidate where I would consider running that 105 derp gun. And you can see here what it looks like with that gun equipped. I do have it. I do use it from time to time. It is funny to blast people with that thing. I still think as horrible as this gun is, it is still more reliable than the derp gun. So that's it. Bottom line, it's just a mediocre tank at best, at the best of times. Whereas the Sherman is always an okay tank, and sometimes it shines. The Panzer IV is a mediocre tank sometimes, and then it'll let you down a lot. It's the other side of that coin, the negative side of it. That being said, again, you can do well in this tank. I've kept it because I'm partial to it, historical significance of the tank and all that. And you know, I like doing well in a tank that that challenges you. And you can do well in this tank, like I said. So let's take a look at some video, and I'll prove to you that even with this sketchy gun, you can do well in this tank. So here we are on the Arctic map in our Panzer IV, and this is not the healthiest matchmaking I've ever gotten in the Panzer IV. There are a platoon of KV-1Ss on the enemy team, and a TOG, and a Panzer IV Schmaltern, and a VK3601H. Now mind, this is 8.7 I want to say is where this patch comes from. So this is back when the VK3601H was a medium tank still. You'll see one there in front of me. Looks exactly the same, you can tell it's very much more sprightly than it actually is today. So don't get confused. This is some time ago. Back when, I'll be honest with you, the VK3601H was one of, if not my actual favorite Tier 6 medium tank. I don't know, that's hard to say because I do love the T-3485, but the VK I think is a little more flexible. The T-3485 had to be a knife fighter. The VK could do it all. But that's neither here nor there. This is not a Tier 6 medium tank review. This is a review of the Panzer IV. And note how well the Panzer IV moves on out. Even though it's middle of the pack and it has low hull traverse, it still moves out quite well. And it's definitely faster than the Sherman. Look how quick we got up here. And there's my gun trolling me right in the face. So that one missed. That one went low. That one went left again, but at least we got a penetration, and now that's another kill that we didn't get because the gun trolled me. A little bit of lag there. You see me jerking the cursor around. At least it hit, but it drifted up into his turret. There we go. We get a hit. What do I tell you? I have bounced more shots off Wolverines than anybody in the history of World of Tanks. I'm telling you, that guy's lucky he didn't get shot in the back of his turret. What we're trying to do here is shoot the cupola of that KV-1S. I don't have any real great hope of penetrating the front of his turret. Panzer IV Schmaltern, I'm not real confident in my ability to penetrate him either. Would like to hit him though. Just get his attention. Make him back down. I typically don't sit on the top of a hill when I'm taking shots, even when it doesn't seem like they're penetrating. It's just not a good idea. Really wish I could get a better shot on this KV-1S. Can't believe those are hitting. To me, it looked by the silhouette, if they hit anywhere, they gotta hit his cupola. So I'm surprised those shots are not hitting. Here's this Panzer IV Schmaltern playing some more. The hilarious thing is, I don't think he can see me. He's spotted because of, it should be the Stug proxy spotting him, so I don't think he can see me. There we actually get a penetration in the front, turret front of the KV-1S. Small miracle. Again, how did that hit and not hit the cupola and go in? It's beyond me. But that we penetrated them all, really, I shouldn't complain. I don't know what this Stug was doing, to be honest with you. For him to have lived as long as he did, either these guys are complete retards, or he's pretty good at driving a Stug, and I wish he had stayed back. And not charged out there to engage Tier 6 tanks. If he'd have stayed back with us, there's no telling what he could have accomplished. Still crapshoot at that KV-1S. I see the Panzer IV Schmaltern come out. So we're gonna bounce some more acorns off his turret and see if he'll go away. Uh-oh. Panzer III is gonna scout us. That's pretty good. I tried to anticipate. I figured he would stop there. I tried to anticipate it and get the shot off. It didn't work, and then when I got an aim shot, it went right over his turret. But those two go in and get us the kill, but that's a lot of damage. I don't think I should have had to take it. Because that gun trolled me. Nope, that's not good. But just that would have totally ruined my day. Now let's pull up and get behind this rock. I don't want to get shot by the Panzer IV Schmaltern, but I really don't want to get shot by that KV-1S. Where'd this Schmaltern go? Don't think he backed out. Maybe he did though. Maybe he's going around to link up with that KV-1S. So I'm going to orient this way. I don't think the 1S can see me anymore. I think I just came too far back from behind this bush. Now he's going that way. So if he's going that way, that means that Schmaltern is probably still over. Yeah, still over here, and they're trying to link up. Hi. Now we got a good shot at this hull. Trying to get it in his lower glacis, and as I back off, he misses. Got a real lucky bounce there. Not really sure what this Schmaltern is doing, but if he's gonna back and play peekaboo, I will definitely break contact and try to get to a new position where he's not entirely sure where I am when he comes forward. because I really don't want to engage this tier 6 medium with all the cards in his hand. Now, believe it or not, I think this guy is actually traversed over trying to shoot our artillery. I don't think he realizes, yes, I can hurt you, yes, I can kill you, and I think his overconfidence just killed him right there. I literally think he ignored me. I think he thought he could get the shot off on the arty and kill the artillery and get a kill, and then traverse back over and kill me before I could pull up and kill him. That's the only thing I can think right there. Either that, or there's just obvious brain damage going on, because that was bad. That was really bad. Ugh. Bounce off the side of the KV-1S twice. That shot goes in. Now we're gonna chase him because I don't want him to get away and reload. And who let their tank die right there in my way? Good God. I'm not sure if that was their artillery or their KV-1S. I think it was artillery first. Or that second one was the KV-1S. Either way, we need to get the heck out of here. It's 11-14. Apparently I'm the last tank left. I just realized that. There was nowhere left to go anyway. Too many tanks. Too many tanks. So yeah, it's kind of depressing. I was on 4 kills, thought I was doing well. Let's take a look at the results screen. So yeah, 20,434 credits, 474 experience points on a defeat. Not too shabby. Put a lot of shots into a lot of tanks, most of which were tier 5 or 6. So it's not like I was out there picking on the scouts. Let's look at the team score. And according to the team score, we were good for 1,193 points of damage and 4 kills, which is second place for damage done on our team, just 17 points off the lead. And 474 experience points is the most gained on our team by far. In point of fact, if we look over here at the enemy team, you can see that the only people that gained more experience than me on the winning team were the top 3 players in terms of damage. Everyone else, crap. They literally carried that team. And you know, the KV-1S is perfectly capable of doing that, especially when you have a KV-1S that got 2 penetrations and another one that got 1. Just those are the things that can happen, you know, just unbelievable. We really needed our top tier tanks to play a better game. Looking at the detailed report, I fired 38 shots, 25 of which hit, and of 25 hits, only 14 penetrated. Again, this gun just trolls you. If that was a Sherman, if I had the 76mm gun off the Sherman, I'd chewed that KV-1S out, even from the front. Now, that assumes that I hit, because remember that gun is not as accurate, but at 126mm of penetration average, I bet you some of those shots would have gotten in. Again, I don't like the gun on this tank. Took 5 hits, 4 penetrated, did get 1 bounce, 930 potential damage received. Didn't spot any enemies because we were a little bit out tiered and playing defensively. We did, however, damage 4 tanks and destroy 4. Brought home 14,820 credits after repairs and resupply. Not a bad result. Just wish we had a better team. Let's take a look at a game that doesn't put an already challenged tank in such a bad situation. Alright, second try in the Panzer IV. Pohorovka, I think is how you pronounce this map. So it's such an awkward word. But we've got a tier 5 game. About half the field is tier 5. The rest are tier 4s and a couple of tier 3, either artillery or scouts. So the type of matchmaking that really favors the Panzer IV, as opposed to the matchmaking that takes an already bad situation and kicks you in the pants. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to push east and go for the hill. It's my go-to play when I don't know what's going to happen and I don't feel like I'm big enough relative to the other tanks on the field to push down Death Road at the 1-2 line. Also, you see that none of the rest of the team went up there. They all went middle. And additionally, no one's coming up here on the hill with me either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb this hill and park on the back side. Now you remember in the garage review, the one thing the Panzer IV really has going for it is outstanding signal range. So I'm going to get up here. I only want to move up just enough to get to a bush and to pick up what my teammates are spotting. And I'm going to try to provide fire support. Even though this gun is sketchily inaccurate, it is more accurate than the 76mm on the Sherman. Now I got me a bush. I don't think anybody could have seen me anyway, even if I was just shooting in the open. I think I'm too far away. But just in case, never hurts. And the whole time I'm slinging shots at this Stuart, keeping my eye on the bottom right hand corner of the mini-map, looking for any red to pop up on the other side of the hill, because as soon as it does, I'm throwing it in reverse and I'm running, breaking contact. You see us bouncing, missing, trying to hit this T-14. Stuart moving erratically, finally get a shot into him. And there's the T-14. It's kind of an angled shot because of where he's at. So he gets tracked, and now we got a better presentation of his flank. Unfortunately, either his round beat us to the tank or our shot bounced. You notice how slow our rounds fly. Because it's a shorter barrel, the rounds are even kind of lower velocity and take longer to get to the target. Now obviously it's nowhere near as bad as a howitzer or as a derp gun, but it is something to consider. Your rounds actually don't fly quite as fast as they do in, say, the T-34 with that 57mm Zis, or even the Sherman. I think the rounds in the Sherman even fly just a few fractions of a second faster. Of course, these are all long-range engagements as well. Trying to squeak a shot between the houses. Got a couple in there. See if we can at least annoy this KV-1. There we go. You see there the range indicator tells us it's 429 meters to there. We've been shooting further than that. That Stuart had to have been at least 500. Now that KV-1, I tracked him, and what I'm doing now is just pumping shots at him because he didn't use a repair kit, and he may not have one. And if he doesn't, I just want to punish him. And I've got the rounds to do it, so why not? It's not like the ammunition for this tank is expensive, and it's not like I may run out of ammo. I still got 60 rounds left. So I put a good, who knows, what was that, 6, 7, 8 shots in there just to see if we could hurt him. And the only reason I stopped is because I thought I saw the Stuart pop back up, and I was looking for him and looking for the tank destroyer further out west. Matilda's doing some work out on the western flank. He's already got 2 kills. Oh, flank of a Churchill. That goes in. Again, 428 meters. We're still penetrating. Oh, got the kill on that KV-1. Kind of an awkward angle we gotta track. Still penetrating. Still penetrating, and now I'm going to premium rounds because I want these to count. I don't want to get an awkward miss. Yep, those 2 premium rounds both go in. And now we go back to standard armor piercing. What I did not want right there is for a freak bounce to cost me the kill, and additionally maybe even cost the Ram 2, who I'm pretty sure was spotting for us, cost him his tank because I got an ill-timed bounce. That's why I loaded the premium rounds for those last 2 shots. Premium rounds for those last 2 rots. I swear, sometimes I can't talk. Now, I've noticed that the only 2 tanks the enemy have left, aside from their artillery, are the Gesundheit 2 and the M3 Lee. And you saw the Ram is really beat up. The Matilda has unfortunately been finally taken out, and I don't know what condition the Gesundheit is in, and I'm not convinced that these guys can take him down. They should be able to, but I'm not convinced. I don't want this game to take all day. No one all game long has even come over to my hill, and I could probably go all the way around and flank them, but as sure as I did, that M3 Lee would be sitting at like Bravo 9 and launch a 75mm right into the side of my tank. So that's why I've come back over here, because I know there's no one over here and I'm free to drive wherever I want up until at least this point. When I cross this ridge, I know I've got to be worried about making contact, and that's why I'm kind of hoping one of these tier 4s will go up here and do it. Take one for the team, man. And I'm not sure who spotted the Gesundheit, but he's very beat up. So we're going to go ahead and push him, and before we can get over there, Hetzer does him in. Now we're taking a shot from somebody. Probably artillery, which means they're fairly close. They probably even see us. Or they were just firing ahead of where we were going based on the last spot by the Gesundheit. There's a good hit on the grill on the move. Unfortunately, I can't get another one. And what I'm doing here is I kind of suspected that everyone would be shooting at the grill, trying to sneak my kill. So that's why I didn't want to let go of the grill. Normally I'd have let go of the grill and fired at the M37 because he was a closer target. Thankfully though, I guess my teammates saw that I was firing at the grill, so they killed the M37 for me and it worked out. Now in this case, I think I've got enough health. Even if he hits me, I should live. So I stop and go ahead and make the well-aimed shots on the Su-26 and pull up the 4th kill. And now, the only tank they have left is the M3 Lee. As much as I despise that thing, I am being a little bit careful because it does have a dangerous gun. Put one shot into him. I think I would have had the kill. The Su-85 I don't think would have reloaded in time, but he rammed him for the kill. And there you go. Not a bad game on Paharovka, however you say it, in the Panzer IV. Let's check out the results screen. So there you have it. That was our mastery badge in the Panzer IV. 69,137 credits, 1,067 experience. Non-doubled, non-premium, so that's not too shabby. Also got a sharpshooter ribbon for that. And look at all the hits. Surprising for that gun. Note the KV-1, 6 hits. If we mouse over it here, you'll see we got 602 points of damage on that KV-1. Remember all those blind shots I was firing? They were not going to waste. And if we mouse over here, look at the damage to his modules. If we check that out, you can see, holy cow, took out his ammo rack, destroyed his fuel tank, took out his radio, destroyed his tracks. I'm pretty sure at some point while we were firing blind shots, we set that KV-1 on fire, which is hilarious to hit him that many times, not be able to see him, and set him on fire. I just noticed that when I was pulling up the results and thought it was kind of funny. Let's check out the team score. So there we are, 2,222 points of damage, 4 kills, good enough for 1,067 base experience. Almost twice as much as the nearest competitor on our team. I think that's a Sture Emil is what that was actually called. He's got 1,357 points of damage. And the opposing team, as you can tell, was just, that's ugly. I've had games like that. I'm glad I wasn't on that team. The poor Grill put out 1,000 points of damage, got 3 kills. He just couldn't get anybody that knew how to drive a tank to support him. It happens. Looking at the detailed report, I fired 44 shots. A lot of those are speculative shots and shots at moving and light tanks at 430 meters or more. So that's why we only got 32 hits. I think that's a pretty good hit ratio considering the ranges we were engaging at. And of the 32 hits, like I talked about, only 24 penetrated. The gun will let you down. Even when you get hits, flank hits, it will still let you down. Still good enough for our 2,222 points of damage though. And again, armor, not as good as it looks on paper. Took 3 hits, all 3 penetrated, and we got some splash damage. Potential damage received, 492 points, which is just enough to kill the tank, but not quite, because that's potential damage. Spotted 4 enemy tanks, damaged 8, killed 4, got 320 points. We didn't spot nothing, I don't think. I think that was from tracking some of those heavy tanks there towards the end. Did get credit for a mission completed in terms of credits earned, but did not, as you see, get any missions completed. That's all just base experience. So 59,479 credit profit. Even if we take away the 40 for the mission, we still would have made almost 20,000 credit profit. Not a bad result in the Panzer IV. But that's what I mean, folks. You gotta play it careful. You gotta have a good set of circumstances. Literally, everything has to line up just right for you to get an outstanding result on this tank. It's a subpar tank. It's not terrible, but it is subpar. And you're going to have to work to get outstanding results in this tank. But, you know, sometimes that's fun. Sometimes it's fun to do well in a tank that doesn't have the cards stacked in its favor. So, that's it for this time, folks. Hope you enjoyed this review of the Panzer Kampfwagen 4. I hope you find it helpful in determining where you want to go in the tech trees. We'll probably take a look at the Panzer III/4 next time, and then we'll start taking a look at some of the other tier 5 heavy tanks, some of the other options we got going on. I'll try to get these in my garage though, because I don't want to do a review of a tank I don't have if I can't show you gameplay. That's kind of the hold up. I'm pushing really hard for tier 9 tanks, and it's just painful to go back and buy these tanks that I've either sold or wasn't interested in. But I want to do this. I think it would have been helpful to me to have more information about the lower tier tanks so I could figure out where I wanted to go and what was the best tank to get. So I hope you guys find it helpful as well. So thanks for joining us. Hope to see you next time.